Hello and welcome to this episode on Airmeout, and with me is Damilola. Damilola, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Dami Precious Oyumi, but you can call me Dami Precious anywhere, anytime. I am a digital marketer, a photographer, podcaster, YouTuber. I see myself as a box of creative, and if I'm not doing any of this, I am known to be a Sickle Cell Warrior and a global Sickle Cell Advocate.
That's interesting. You're a podcaster. Can you tell me more about your podcast?
Okay, my podcast is basically about Sickle Cell Warriors. What we do there is invite Sickle Cell Warriors to come and share your story as your challenges living with Sickle Cell, the victories you've achieved aside from the challenges, because as a Sickle Cell Warrior, you don't exactly have to talk about the challenges all the time.
So the general idea about sickle cell is having parents with SS and two parents with SS. And how has been that for you? When did you find out that you were a sickle cell warrior?
Okay, my parents found out I had sickle cell at the age of 7. And I'd say that was the time I also found out that I had sickle cell. But I didn't exactly put that into my consciousness until I got to secondary school when I was bullied because I had sickle cell.
Bullied in what way?
Okay, so basically, it's the stigma side, but I saw it more as a bully. But it was later on I realized that, okay, this is stigmatization. So it was more or less like, okay, this girl, she has sickle cell. They tried to push me to the front for teachers to beat me first so that they won't have to give them strong hand beating by the time it gets to their turn. When the teacher has beat me, then if I start to cry or if I'm not around for exams on everything, they'll be like, oh, is it not that one? She's fragile and stuff like that.
So is it that people knew, was this information known to your students, your friends? Was it a public knowledge or they just assumed?
It was a public knowledge, but not from my hand. It was a situation where a teacher rather, had beat me, and it led to a boil in my face, bursting out. Then I got home and my mom was angry. Then she came to school and she was like, why would you beat her? You don't know how much I spend on her, stuff like that. Then my class then was directly behind the staff room. So the overhead, basically.
See. So I know that there is the financial aspect of sickle cell. Have you been able to navigate it and things like that?
How have I been able to navigate that? I'd say God's provision, because it's not about the hard work. It's not about what's coming in and all that has helped so far financially. Because there are times when there is literally nothing. You just have to live. You just have to survive and focus on the present and not on the fact that, okay, I had this money before, where did it go to? Or I had so amount before, how do I make money? Because I've come to realize that the more I stress myself about money, the more I would end up falling sick, because emotions trigger sickle cell crisis.
So when you moved from secondary school, primary school, how were you able to navigate with the stress of academic in higher institution and things like that?
How am I able to navigate? It wasn't easy navigating from that. It wasn't easy having to move from secondary school to university, because in secondary school you have your parents, you have your siblings around, people that understand what it takes to be someone living with this disease. But when I got to the university, it wasn't entirely easy. Moving from somewhere outside from home, having to meet new people, having a high amount of exposure for something that I wasn't ready for. I was ready for academics, right? Yes. But I wasn't ready for the fact that, okay, I have sickle cell and I have to handle this with being a university student.
So you're saying you're being vulnerable.
I won't say that. I wasn't vulnerable until I got to my second year in the university. No one knew I had sickle cell until I had my first crisis in part 1. It took a number of people to just know. I never wanted to talk about it.
And so how are you able to deal with friendship in higher institution? Because now you need to be dependent on some people that you can trust with this kind of information and things like that.
It wasn't easy because I had traumas from the secondary school phase. So it wasn't easy coming and having to say, okay, I want to open up to you.
Yes.
I don't even know you. Aside from being a sickle cell warrior, aside from having sickle cell, I don't even know you. Yeah. I don't know your background. I don't know where you are coming from. I've not opened myself up to you for you to be my friend or for us to be friends. Before I cannot say, I want to tell you that this is something going on personally in my life. So I didn't navigate that properly, or I would say I took my time before I was able to open up to people and say, okay, this is it. But it got to a point, my friendships were not based on sickle cell. It was based on the fact that if I am feeling fine, I don't have people around me. But if I am not feeling fine, people show up. So it wasn't something easy for me. I cut those friendships.
Why?
I am an all-round person.
Yeah.
So it took a while for me to say, okay, there are certain like people that can be in your life for certain reasons. There's that part. But as at that point in my life, I was like, if everything you're concerned about me is just my health, it wasn't sitting right with me. I know that, okay, quite all right, I have sickle cell. But each time you see me, each time you get to talk, you are talking about sickle cell. You are talking about, have you eaten? Fine, it's okay for you to care. But you are talking about, have you taken your medications today? When last did you go to the hospital? And after that, everything is done. But bro, I had something else going on aside from sickle cell. But because you are asking me about like my health all the time, which we know this sickle cell now, I wasn't entirely comfortable to now open up to every other thing in my life that's something that wasn't going well. Because I already know, okay, if you come to me, you are coming to ask me, how's your health? Yeah. And after that, that's all. We were not able to talk about deep things. We were not able to share our views about other things. We were not able to talk about life in general or school life itself. I was not able to just talk about school or anything. You are just, how are you doing? Have you eaten? Have you taken your meds? Rest though. Don't disturb yourself and stuff like that. It wasn't sitting right with me because I want a friendship where I am able to tell you other things aside from sickle cell. Yeah. I am able to tell you, this is my dream, this is my passion. And you're able to share yours with me. I'm able to talk about random things about life.
Yeah, I get so now, are you at a very comfortable state with the friends that you have and things like that?
Yes, I am.
Well, that's interesting. So let's move into work. You mentioned that you do a whole lot of things, and how are you able to navigate that?
I know that I don't want to be mediocre, despite the fact that I have sickle cell.
Yes.
I know that first I am human before this genotype. It's a unique genotype. It doesn't define who I am or who I am supposed to be in life. I know my purpose in life. So I navigate this with first understanding that, okay, I have a reason why I am doing this. I mentioned I'm a photographer. I do that out of passion, interest, hobby, not to make money. Okay. And I'm doing photography for fun of it. At my leisure, I want to edit pictures or I want to edit videos, and I am feeling fine. And for podcast, it has a purpose. Yes. For YouTube, it has a purpose. And for digital marketing, I know that I am working towards this to make money for the betterment of my life. Yes. So I know when to pick photography. I know when to pick podcasting. I know when to pick YouTube. And I know when to pick digital marketing. At the phase I am currently, I am picking digital marketing because I need money to be able to do the rest, like to a full capacity. So navigating that is first understanding myself. Then that, okay, aside from doing all this, aside from having passion, aside from wanting to make money, I have sickle cell also. So I am able to understand that as a sickle cell warrior, when I want to learn, when I want to build myself, there is a limit to what I can do. But I've been able to understand myself that, okay, you can't do this, you can do this. Or you cannot do this now, but if you do it one day at a time, you'll be able to get there.
So with all these things that you do, photography, podcasting, community manager, YouTuber, and things like that, how do you, forgive me for saying this, how do you have the strengths for doing all this?
I'd say God again. It has to be God's strength. And a very key important thing is support system. People will believe that you can. People will believe in you, even if you have the most stupid idea ever. They believe in you. Like support systems. When I wanted to start podcasting, I wasn't sure about what I wanted to do, but all I knew was that I wanted to give voices to other sickle cell warriors. Then I had a conversation with someone, and she was like, okay, then why not just invite sickle cell warriors, let them share their stories. And I started it. And it was able to become something beyond my expectation. I started a podcast. People come, share their story, talk about their struggles. And I was listening to in over 18 countries.
Wow.
So it has to be the support systems that I have. If by eventually I didn't have that support system, I probably would not be able to do it. So first, God's strength, support system. And for me, myself, I have to know that, okay, aside from being a sickle cell warrior, I want to do something else.
So is there like a community? I know that government does some things and all of that. This community that you have, Global Sickle Cell Advocates, is there like support from government, NGOs, and things like that kind of create awareness for this unique genotype?
For my community, no. But for other sickle cell community, yes, there is. Why? Because for my community, what my community does is to focus on the emotional sides of being a sickle cell warrior. When I say emotional side, is having a safe space to come and talk, basically. Not like there's a date where you can talk or there's a time where you can talk. The community is open to every sickle cell warriors. Whereas you feel safe talking about whatever it is that is going on. Even if it is your food that pour away. Like, if your food should pour away, you can come to the group and just, like, say it. Because, you feel seen, you feel heard. And I started this because I knew about other sickle cell warriors community. But what they do there is to support people with money. That's very good. Support people with money when you need someone, like, it's based on the old governmental support, NGOs and everything. Not like I don't need support, but then I realized that as much as this group is for fundraising and all of that, I didn't feel safe, basically, talking about the mental part or the psychological part of being a sickle cell warrior. I am not able to come to this group to come and say, okay, someone said this to me, someone stigmatized me, and to get the required amount of support I'm supposed to get from the people in that group. So I was like, why not just create something? Create a safe space, no rules and regulation, no this is what you're supposed to say or this is what you're not supposed to say. Just a safe space where we have other sickle cell warriors, we have caregivers there, we have family members there. Why our family members are caregivers on this group is so that if I am telling you that I am in pains, or I am coming to the group to say I am in pains, and other sickle cell warriors are telling me, oh, what have you used? How are you feeling? What have you taken? And stuff like that. You as my family member, you'll be able to understand that, okay, this is the way I'm supposed to respond to Dami the next time she comes to me to say this is what she's feeling, instead of me telling her that, you've been playing too much, you've been up and down too much, that's why you're in pains and stuff like that. So having a safe space is one thing I am working towards. I am working on it right now, but I'm working towards it to become better from here.
Okay, you mentioned about safety, and I'd like us to like just give emphasis. Is there a case of abuse for people with this unique genotype? Maybe psychological abuse, mental abuse, physical, and things like that. Have you experienced anything like that? Maybe not with you, but people in your community.
I'd say with me, I have.
Really?
And I know myself, I know my triggers. So it is up until recently I started to focus on some things that happen around me, because based on what happened in secondary school, I just created a wall, a tough skin, and just overlook things basically. But then if I want to look within and deeper, I've been able to see that, okay, there are things that are affecting, or there are things that people say to me that, and they are not supposed to say that. Yeah. So I try not to think about it, but in my process of thinking about it, I'm thinking about how to solve something like that happening, like how to overcome something like that when it happens the next time, because emotions trigger my own crisis. So I don't stay in my emotions too long. Whatever it is that you say, that's your own cup of tea, basically. So I don't stay in my emotions too long. I was in pain some time ago, and I went to the hospital. And as a coping mechanism, my friend followed me. So as one of my coping mechanisms, I just, whenever I'm in pain, that I know that, okay, I want to maintain my steeze and composure, basically. So I was just gisting with her, laughing with her in front of the doctor's room. But my pain score was more than 10. My pain score was way above the chart. So I was just gisting and laughing with her, and I was able to get myself to the doctor's table. And the next thing the doctor will say is, "Are you sure you're in pain?"
Really?
I want to attend to the next person.
The doctor said that?
Yeah, the doctor said that. And for Sickle Cell Warriors, we don't talk about hospital traumas, hospital beliefs, hospital abuse. Or when you are in a pain and you are requesting for a medication that has been prescribed to you before. For someone like me, I don't take pain relievers. The only pain reliever I take is injection, a particular injection. So if you're attending to me for the first time as a doctor, you don't have my history, you don't have my old records. And I am telling you that, okay, this is what I need right now to overcome this. And you're tagging me as a drug addict.
Wow.
So there are situations like that.
Wow.
You're tagging me as a drug addict, and because I'm in pain, there's literally nothing I can say, like to counter you and tell you that, okay, no, it's not supposed to be like that. But just give me this thing and let me go. That's the way the pains can be. I'm not saying we are drug addicts. We are not. But when you know that you're having a stomach pain, or, okay, fine, headache. When you know that you're having an headache, or you are feeling dehydrated, let me use that word. You're feeling dehydrated. Common sense is that you have to take water to stay hydrated. So the common sense for us as Sickle Cell Warriors is that I know the medications I take to relieve my pains, right? So if I'm telling you this is what I need, it doesn't make me a drug addict. I am not addicted to the drug. Even for myself personally, I try as much as possible not to take even the injection, because it's doing more harm than good. All it does, relieves the pain. After a few minutes, you are maybe with the pains again, or you are dealing with the side effects. I even have PTSD with the injection. But that's the only thing I can take. That's the only thing that works for me. Because when I was taking pain relievers, I ended up being a PUD patient. That's been someone who has ulcer. I never had ulcer until I started taking a particular pain relief medications. So because I know that, okay, this is something that can work for me, I'm asking for it. Not that I need it. I don't want it. I just need it to be fine. So we've had different cases like that, and situations whereby you are telling your friend or someone who is supposed to be your friend that you are in pain, and the person is like, is it only you every time? So we've had cases like that.
That's a lot to unpack, especially the hospital part where you feel like, okay, these people should understand you better, nurses treating you anyhow and things like that. That's a lot. That's a lot. And in all of this, how were you able to? I'm assuming now that there are cases where you had to spend time in the hospital and things like that. Have you experienced any case where we know the typical Nigerian nurses and things like that? Any experience or that you can remember?
With admission?
Yes.
Admission come and go. Because there's something called post-admission depression.
Interesting.
For us as Sickle Cell Warrior. So for me, admissions come and go. I try not to remember anything about admissions. So if I'm to say an experience right now, I probably do not have anything in my head, or I don't want to open that place in my head.
I know, right? So in all of this, I really don't know if there are cases of maybe therapy, or there's like a support system for unique cases like this.
There are psychologists, there are therapists that assist sickle cell warriors who are dealing with traumas. Okay, I think I know of someone who has gone to a therapist just because of an abuse, like psychological abuse now, and they've been good results rather from those sessions. And in my community, my community itself, I would say it's a therapy. My community, I'm proud to say that my community itself is a therapy, because even for me, who manage the community, I've had situations whereby I'm not having a not so good day, and just coming to that page, I feel relieved, I feel better.
That's good to know. So in all of this, I know we've heard cases of, I don't know how true that is, and this is, a lot of us are kind of, what's the word to use now? We are oblivious to some of these cases, and we hear things like, oh, I used to be SS and now I'm AS, or I am AA. Is that true? It's just, I don't know, things like that. Is that true?
I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
A believer. Is that true? I don't know, honestly. But I'd say God is a faithful God, is a miracle-working God. And now, I've had a change of genotype before.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe I've had a lab mistake before. I have 3 genotype results.
Interesting.
I have genotype SC, genotype AA, genotype SS. So would I say God is not a good God? Or would I say God is not a miracle-working God? No, I would not. But after that phase of, I prayed for a change of genotype.
Okay.
I had a prayer cluster. We were praying, I think, every evening. That was in university. We were praying every evening, or I don't know, I can't remember. But I know that whenever we come to pray, we ask God for a change of genotype.
Okay.
To the glory of God, I saw change of genotype. In my test results, I saw change of genotype. In fact, I shared testimony in front of the whole fellowship. And I was with SC genotype. I can count the number of times I visited the hospital.
With SC?
With SC. I can't count the number of times I visited the hospital. That was when I had AA genotype. In my tests, that I had my first blood transfusion.
Oh, you did that?
Since then till now, I've not had any blood transfusion. So, personally, it disturbed my relationship with God. Yes, I asked you for AA genotype, and now I am not popular. I am now popular in the hospital. They now know me. Once they see me, they already know that it's sickle cell crisis. So I was not like, what's this? I can't count the number of times I was visiting the hospital. In fact, it was then I asked, okay, just carry me and be going. I'm not living this life again. Let me just go. And I think it was then also, I think this story is on my podcast where, I don't know, but then I died for a few minutes.
Wow.
And somehow miracle happened. I woke up back. And up until when that situation happened, I had just been discharged from the hospital. Everybody already knew that I've been discharged from the hospital. Then 2 days later, I was being rushed back. So it was on the bike that the whole dying happened. Then somehow, I woke up back, and I was told to go and do another genotype test. But before I went for another genotype test, I was already building back my relationship with God. I was like, whatever it is that you give me, just give me. So I told the person that asked me to go and do another test that, okay, we already know what's going to come out. It's going to be SS at this point, because I don't understand why I am going to go back to do another genotype test. So I went, and before I even checked the result, I'm like, okay, thank you, Jesus. Then I opened it, and I saw SS. And I had a personal conviction, which was that as human beings, or for someone like me, when God gave me SS, or when He created me, and it was like, you are going to be this genotype, because my other siblings, they don't have sickle cell traits at all, not to even talk of sickle cell. So why isn't it me that's having SS? So I was not like, someone with AA spends more time in the hospital. Some AA have other illness that they are dealing with. So why am I asking God for a change of genotype when I could ask for a divine health? Why am I asking God for, this is just genotype. That's the way I got to see it. That this is just genotype. If you go to the hospital now, there are some people at the ER that they don't even have sickle cell at all. They don't have sickle cell trait at all. But they are battling with their lives. They are asking God for good health or healing and every other thing. So why am I focusing my emotions, my time, my prayer to say, God, change my genotype? When I can just ask God for divine health, ask Him for strength, ask Him for grace, ask Him for healing. So when I got the SS, I was like, okay, what's now the next step now like this? It was in that phase that I got to know, okay, this is my purpose in life. What if I am to be SS for a reason? Why am I dragging the genotype with God? Fine, I'm not saying it's not okay to ask God for change of genotype. But personally for me, my personal conviction is I'd rather ask God now for divine health than a change of genotype.
That's an interesting perception for you to come up with this without going to therapy, and it's amazing, and I'm really proud of what you've been able to do so far. And now the interesting parts. Are you able to navigate relationship with all of this?
Relationship?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, relationship. Okay, what part of relationship are you asking right now?
The guy.
The guy. The current guy.
Well, it might be the current guy, but there's going to be a story behind this, that navigating this particular unique case, and is there support there? Do they even understand what you're going through? Can you even open up genuinely? Things like that.
Okay, relationship with sickle cell, it's a different ballgame entirely. But I'm grateful for the one that I'm in right now. And I learned vulnerability in this present relationship that I have. And it's something that, as someone living with sickle cell, having to be concerned about the fact that, this one will understand like this. This one that I want to marry, and when I am in pain, is not empathetic towards me and every other thing. But for relationship, I am grateful for the one I am currently. There is no form of discrimination. And I would say I'm proud of myself. Why? Because as someone living with sickle cell, I know how to carry myself. Because however it is you carry yourself is how people will perceive you. So I think it applies to my relationship. Having to know that, okay, this girl that you're in the relationship with, aside from being a sickle cell warrior, she's doing something more. So I think he has been able to understand that, knowing that she is beyond a genotype. And there was friendship before the relationship, which make things easier.
No, that's really interesting. And so thank you so much, Dami, for coming to our show today. Thank you very much. And if people are to reach you, where can they reach you? On your YouTube page, Instagram, TikTok, or what is the next thing for you as a community?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. So if you like to reach me, which I know you'd want to, you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube as Dami Precious. That's DamiPrecious, Dami Precious.
Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye for now.